Sally Jo was a happy little girl. She had a family that loved her. She had friends that she liked. Her fondest memories are that every time there was a special occasion, she and her dad would walk down to the park and buy a shiny balloon that would commemorate it. She had dreams that floated her imagination all over the world every time that she looked at a balloon. Now all of Sally's dreams might be dead forever. Why? Did her dad die? No. Did all of her friends decide she was a whiny bitch? No, even though she sorta was. Did she realize that all of her childhood dreams were based on growing up in a reasonable economic environment with a competent government, and that was entirely too much to ask, so her future was deflated like the empty balloons that she kept in a box under her bed, which is the same place that she would store her empty dreams? Well, yes, but she was too young to put all those pieces together yet. Is it because the world ran out of helium and she was part of the problem and felt eternal guilt and sadness about her obsession with balloons and all of the tangential dreams that went along with them? Well, duh. Yes. Helium is known as He, He for short, because it is a sexist element. He is number 2 on the periodic table of elements next to hydrogen, so he has an inferiority complex. He is one of the noble gases, which means he is colorless, odorless, tasteless, non-toxic, and inert, much like most royal families. Even the name helium comes from the Greek god of the sun, Helios. He is also super damn old. Most helium was formed during the Big Bang and floats out in the universe beyond Earth. In fact, he is the second most abundant element in the universe, though really rare on Earth. Helium was first detected during an eclipse in 1868 by some sky geeks that saw it streak and recognized it as something baller, so they claimed it as their own. 27 years later, 2 Swedish chemists found helium on Earth radiating from uranium. In 1903, in sexy Dexter, Kansas, they were drilling for oil and a gas geyser exploded that would not burn no matter what they tried. After breaking down the gas, they found out that 12% of it was unidentifiable. They then figured out that 1.84% of the gas was helium. For unfathomable reasons, the most concentrated quantities of helium are under the states of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Since helium is number 2 on the periodic table of elements, that means it is the second lightest element. Hydrogen is number 1. We have to understand why helium is so much rarer than hydrogen. Let's think of it like this. Hydrogen is a dirty slut. One of the most common ways we think of hydrogen is part of water, H2O. 2 hydrogens find a heavier element, oxygen, and climb right on top of it. Then they have a menage a trois and hydrogen does not float off into outer space. Helium is a vaulted virgin. He will not bond with much of anything, so when produced is hard to contain, as he wants to float off into the universe untethered by horniness and feelings. As Americans have always tended to do, we mined the byproduct helium as much as we could, and actually set up the largest helium reserve in the world by 1925. All of the helium resides in Amarillo, Texas, along with this Cadillac Museum. Maybe this explains something about Texas? During this time, helium was used to fly zeppelins and other warplanes. He was used for arc welding and was vital in the atomic bomb production. The Helium Control Act of 1927 banned the export of the scarce element because the United States never learned how to share properly. Because we are not communists, the Helium Act's amendments in 1960 privatized helium collection. By 1995, 1 billion cubic meters of helium had been collected. The original helium reserve was $1.4 billion in debt, so they decided to empty the reserve to private buyers. They sold it off at cheap as hell prices to make back their money by 2015. The government made its money back, but still wants to get rid of the helium. This caused part of the shortage of it. Why do I care, you're asking? We don't need Zeppelin warplanes anymore. Isn't most helium used for kids' balloons and for drunk people to make ridiculous high-pitched music videos for YouTube? These are legit questions. Yes, the cost of helium for party stores has gone up almost 20% in the past year. But if crushing the good times of sentimental children like Sally Joe all over the world isn't enough for you to care about helium, consider this. Helium is used mostly by the medical profession. It is used to take MRIs. It is used to keep superconductor magnets cooled and other welding and medical machines. It is used to enable rockets to blast into space, to make flat-screen TVs. Yes, to make the Thanksgiving Day parade happen. So maybe the question best asked is, why the fuck were we selling helium to party stores for balloons in the first place? But I digress. With a helium shortage, the cost of many medical procedures is going to skyrocket, which will make our already super affordable healthcare more expensive. There is no more helium to pull out of the ground right now. Our demand is outweighing the supply. Should you care about the helium shortage? Yes. I mean, even the Senate just came together on Friday to vote 97-2 to continue the helium program. They did it in part not to break Sally Joe's heart, and partly to save the hearts and bodies everywhere.